Yes, we are live. And he signed the ting. I've got some big guests today. We're going to talk about it. Let's get the intro. Yes, we are back with a Armory TV special, and to discuss the contract extension of not just Mikel Arteta, women's manager Jonas Soderveld has also renewed his contract. James, good to have you on, sir. How are you this afternoon?
What's going on, man? Yeah, I'm good. The weather's banging, so Mikel Arteta signed the thing, as you said. So I'm very positive, my guy. How are you?
Not bad at all. This is positive news for me. GTalks, it's nice to have you on. It's been a minute.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute, man. I've been busy. In the meantime, I've had a bit of annual leave. I've been busy, obviously, with family, Cannon Chatter content. So yeah, and it feels good to be back because I've been meaning to jump on one of the streams, but every time you guys are doing one, I just seem to be preoccupied with something or another. But yeah, no, it's good to be back. It's Friday. I was feeling good this morning. The sun was shining when I took my little one to school. And I've got to admit, the news of Arteta signing his contract pleased me. So yeah, I can't wait to get into it.
Then let's do that right now. So let's start by saying what we know. Mikel Arteta has signed a new contract that will go on to, I believe, the 24-25 season. He's said to be, well, this is I'll quote what he said. I'm happy, excited, grateful, and really, really happy today. And he went further to say that he wants to be the man to take the club to the next level. Edu also said, we are going to face a big summer again, and it's important to have a manager here. It's important to show everyone where we want to go as a club. So, hearing that, G, thoughts?
Yeah, so like I said, it was just a normal Friday, getting ready for the weekend and so forth. Obviously feeling positive about Arsenal after obviously recent results. Can't say that maybe three games ago, but yeah, the mood is definitely on the up. Obviously positive results against the likes of Chelsea, United, and West Ham, which I don't think any of us kind of envisioned after the 3 games prior to the international break. So the news broke, and I have to admit I was surprised because. Not necessarily that I was surprised he was going to get an extension, because I thought and I kind of envisioned that it was always going to happen. But I did think that it was already probably tied up. And I have even said previously on streams that I don't think it mattered where he finished this season. I think if you listen to the whispers and the noise coming out of the club, it was clear that he was, albeit a complete collapse and disaster, he was going to be the man here next season and for the foreseeable future. So I wasn't surprised with the contract extension, but I was surprised a little bit with the timing, just given the fact that obviously we are in the midst of the money end of the season, only 4 cup finals to go in terms of securing top 4. So that did surprise me. I didn't see it coming right now, but yeah, I'm. It's funny because I'm not a hypocrite and I'm always transparent. And when Arteta took over the job, I wasn't happy at all. I saw him as a rookie manager. I saw, obviously the great Wenger leaving the club. We had a bit of turmoil in terms of the Emery signing, Lundberg taking over for a period of time. And I just felt like we needed somebody experienced. We needed somebody who'd been around the block. And we were just in a mess as a club on and off the pitch. So I wasn't in favor of his appointment at all. And there have been periods, even this season, when I've massively questioned the appointment and questioned whether, he is the man to take us forward. But at the end of the day, I can't see how, as an Arsenal fan, you can't see progress. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm very much for seeing what's in front of me. And when there have been periods in the season or previously that you can, legitimately criticize him for the decisions he's made or for the performances or the form of the team, I will do that, and I will do it openly and vocally. But right now, if you had, regardless of how you look at the season, if you had told me at the beginning of the season that we would be in contention for top 4 with 4 games to go, and not only contention, to be in the driving seat, have that in our own hands for ours to lose, I would have absolutely snapped your hand off at the beginning of the season. I just didn't envision it. I thought anything from 5th or 6th would have been amazing progress, given the fact where we are in terms of this squad and where we are in terms of this rebuild. So I was happy with the news. I think it's deserved. And, you know, I will go as far as to say I think he's done a good job. And I just hope that, you know, moving forward, we continue to see progress, you know, on and off the pitch. And hopefully we can secure the top 4 between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, do you know what? You talk about the timing of the news there, and James, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think what it is, it sends a message. I think the message is saying, look, we've secured Europa League now. That was the target, is to get back into European football. We're at least finishing as low as, 5th or 6th. So, and, you know, it's the message that with the squad we got, we are overachieving, and to be in this fight for Champions League. So I think maybe the timing is right. James, would you agree?
Yeah, I see 2 sides of it. I think it's a good time to announce it now, simply due to how busy summer is going to be. That you're looking at players getting extended, Saka, Saliba, Martinelli, maybe even Gabriel, for example, right? So it's going to be hectic, and to get something done set like early, I think sets a precedent of what we can expect in the window to come. If you're a player looking to sign, you're not really wanting to sign for a manager that only has 12 months left on their contract, right? So if I'm a footballer, obviously you want to sign because of the club and the prestige, but you want to sign to be playing under a manager that's going to get the best out of you. And I feel like having that guarantee of going into the window with Mikel Arteta saying he's going to be here for 3 more years sets a great stance on our recruitment policy. I also think going into the back end of the season, it might give us a bit of a boost, simply in the fact that we've got results, but we haven't been playing well. And I'm hoping this is going to be like a bit of like a rallying call to improve the performances and get us over the line, because we do need it. So I'm not too surprised. I was shocked when it came out this morning. I was expecting it more if we were going to announce it maybe just before the end of the season. I didn't expect it this morning on a Friday. That took me out of the blue, but there's no complaints for me. And what G said about Mikel Arteta coming in, I feel like it's kind of like synonymous with the Arsenal's history. Like, I never got to experience like George Graham, and I never got to experience Arsene Wenger's early years, right? But when we recruited these managers, they were known, but never to the point where you're like, wow, we're getting a class manager in, right? So I feel like people may have had this stance with them before, especially Wenger, when we've signed him from the Japanese league, right? Who is this guy? Who is he? What can he do? Yada, yada, yada. And I feel like we might have unearthed another type of these managers that can have a real impact on Arsenal's history. So I'm really excited about what we can be doing this summer. So I'm all for the signing, and even though I am positive, the job's not done yet. We need to get top 4. But I'm happy that he's extended.
Yeah, and I think Adbav Singh here agrees with you. You know, you can give the team a boost, especially going into the running. We'll probably talk about that shortly. But I think it's positive news. AFC Max, again, he agrees. Great news. He's pumped for this, he says. And he also goes on to say timing could have been better, but I understand why they did it. I personally think the timing's right. I really do. And it does send a message that, you know, look, we are overachieving with this squad we've got, and how thin the squad is as well. And to still be in that position, especially after losing those 3 games, and then we go on and win those 3 games after that, just shows, you know, there is something in there in Arteta. I really think there is. And anything else you want to add to the news, or what can you see going forward? Obviously, Edu's picked up that the summer is going to be big again, like last summer, so that's promising.
Yeah, I think just to kind of touch on what, you know, James said, I think it's a very valid point, and it was a point that was pointed out to me. I think it was by Bobby on our channel. I think it was Bobby or maybe even Stephen, but I'm not sure who it was. But it was about, you know, the culture of signing, you know, young managers or managers that are not necessarily, you know, household names. And it is very true. because it's just part of the culture of the club. You know, as James said, in terms of George Graham, in terms of Arsene Wenger. When Arsene Wenger joined the club, yeah, you know, I was supporting Arsenal, but I was young, so I wasn't, you know, in touch with the ins and outs of like managerial decisions and stuff like that. But I could imagine if Arsene Wenger was signed for the club now, there'd be absolute uproar. Do you know what I mean? In terms of what that, as there was at the time, you know, even Ian Wright himself said, Arsene who? Do you know what I mean? Nobody knew of him. So it definitely falls in line with the culture of the club and the way they do things. Because obviously where we were as a club in terms of in turmoil at the time, you know, many of us were looking at, you know, an experienced manager, you know, like a Klopp or an Allegri or a Simeone and someone like that. But as James pointed out, we've never done that. So really and truly, I'm just hoping that, you know, Arteta is, you know, another kind of unearthed gem that, you know, we've obviously tied down now and just can kind of continue to progress. In terms of the summer, yeah, it's massive. You know, if we thought last summer was big, this summer is even bigger. And I don't mean by that in terms of Arsenal need to spend more money than they did last summer, because I don't necessarily feel like it's all about the money. It's about the right recruitment. Obviously, as fans, we want to see our club spend money, but we've seen if you just take, and I don't mean to dig out, you know, Pepe, but if you just take the Pepe scenario where we spent £72 million on him, and for whatever reason, it's not necessarily turned into a good investment. But then if you look at the 150 million that we spent on 6 players that have massively improved the squad, so I don't think, you know, I don't think it's realistic to imagine that Arsenal are going to go out and splash £500 million. It's not going to happen. But if we can see, it's going to be significant investment, regardless of who they buy, because of the market that we're in. But it's all about buying the right players. And they're not always going to get it right. And I think, you know, there have been some suspect signings, you know, previously and even part of the current crop. But I think on the large, I think they've got it right. I was completely underwhelmed in the summer when I looked at the signings that were coming into the club. And I would say 90% of those signings have massively, you know, proved me wrong. So I'm really optimistic. I'm really excited about the summer. And I'm very much going to reserve judgment in terms of who we bring in. Regardless of who we bring in, regardless of my opinion, I'm going to just chill and I'm going to just see how it goes, because I don't want to end up with humble pie and I don't want to end up with egg on my face again, which I did this season. So, but yeah, I'm excited.
See, that's the thing. That's what you want. That's what you want, though.
Yeah, I'm glad he signed his contract. And I think, you know, echo what James said as well, in terms of just like, you know, back in European football, regardless of whether it's Champions League or not, I think if your players looking at what's going on at Arsenal, the fact that we've secured the manager down for another 2 years, it all screams the right things. Do you know what I mean? Because as we know, the media got an agenda against Arsenal. Had he not signed this contract or had this dragged on, all of a sudden you're just going to see untold media reports about linking in with Barcelona, linking in with this club. You know, there's unrest in the dressing room, etc., etc. And what this does is just nips all of that in the bud before it even begun. So I'm in favor of the news, and yeah, bring on the summer.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think
100%. And we just go on, James, please.
I think the announcement of the contract now is it's kind of like in a smart, I don't know, like big brain move, in the sense of everyone's attention is now on Arteta. So nobody's like, oh, okay, we have to play Leeds, we have to play Spurs. You know what I mean? Everyone's solely on Arteta, right? Yeah. So for me, if the players can just do the business and without the pressure of everyone's eyes on them, fair enough. And that's one of the points. But I also think with what G said as well, like just having an excitement there. For me, right, I'm 22, turning 23 in the summer, right? You guys are slightly older than me. So you've got to experience league title. Yeah, I'll say slightly. I was being polite. We'll say slightly. So you've experienced league titles, right? You've experienced major honors. The major honors that we last won, I was 3, 4, 5 years old, right? So I wasn't there in the flesh to experience it, you know? So this, and I'll make this point, this is the most excited I've been as an Arsenal fan in terms of longevity of where I see us going, not just as a team, because we've had good teams in the past, but as a club, we're starting to act like a big club now. And I feel like I'm not going to say it, that the Cronkies have kind of span my opinion on them, but they're directing the club in the manner that we want to see. That they are doing business early. They're keeping contracts on top of every 2 years, signing a new one. Tierney, Gabriel, whoever, right? Smith Rowe, they're on it. And we are moving in the right direction. And for me, there's very few clubs in the world at the moment, right? And this is maybe slightly biased because I'm an Arsenal fan, but outside of the elite clubs being City, Liverpool, Bayern, Real Madrid at the moment, right? There's a lot of historically big clubs that are falling down the pecking order and are transitioning back to where we want to be.
Yep.
I don't see a club like this, bar maybe Barcelona, that is more exciting to join as a player than our club. So that's I'm just, bro, if we can do a madness in the summer, I'm going to be guest. I'm just pumped. This is the most excited I've ever been as an Arsenal fan outside of winning FA Cup. So.
No, I love that. I love that. I'm just going to go through some more of the comments just quickly. There's some eye-catching ones there. We'll get to them. We've already touched on that one. Adbath Singh, I'm hoping I pronounced your name right. Look at Liverpool after Klopp's extension. Yeah, I mean, you could compare the two. I'd try not to. I think we're looking at kind of different situations there. Klopp had a reasonably good side, didn't he? Whereas Arteta picked up a lot of mess, and he's clearing it, and he's addressed most of that this season, and I think that's where he's been rewarded as well. If I'm honest, his man management seems to be up there for me. Obviously, with this documentary coming up, we're going to know a lot more. So I can't wait. I can't wait for that as well, to be honest. AFC Matt says, can I just say this? The most united the fans are being behind the club and manager. It's just a few sour grapes that refuse to see progress. The less we speak about them, the better. But he's right. He is right. And you see it on Twitter. You see it every day. You meet Arsenal fans, and the feeling's brilliant. I can't remember the last time. I mean, it could be back when we did win the league that we felt this fan base so united. It's really nice to see. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. Like I said, I didn't realize you was that young, James. Really didn't realize that. Man, it made me feel old, bro. But yeah, no, it's obviously like growing up and watching and seeing Arsenal winning major trophies, and even when we weren't winning major trophies, we were competing, we were competitive. And sometimes as a fan, that's what you kind of ask for. If you're in and around, the potential to win stuff. But yeah, it's been a long time, man. It really has. There've been times when I've really sat down and just questioned, not why I support Arsenal, but sometimes I just wished I could wake up and just not love football and just not love Arsenal, because it's almost like you care so much to the point where it does much, and it does, it does affect your spirit and your mood, etc. I even got to a point where for a period of time I stopped watching games because it was having a massive impact on my mental health. I'm not even joking. Like, honestly, like we'd lose a game and my mood that weekend would just be horrid. And then I've got obviously taking it out on the missus, taking it out on the kids,
little ones.
Don't want to do nothing, don't want to get out of bed, don't want to go work. So there was a period of time when I really kind of felt massively disconnected from the club. And that was to do with performances on the pitch and obviously the way the club, was being obviously managed and looked after off the pitch. So it is a good feeling. Like I say, we're far away from where we want to be and where I think as a club we ought to be. But where we've come from to where we've been to where we're heading and the way it looks like we're heading, it's positive and it's good. So long may it continue.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Twitter might have something to do with it. There's I just remember back in the day where you just go to Highbury and everyone just spoke to everyone. Everyone, you didn't have to agree with everything, but you spoke to each other because you loved the club, and there was no name calling, which we've seen from some people on this app. The less we talk about them again, the better. Last point from AFC Max, he says, I want to make is it will give players here who are thinking of signing a new deal clarity, and players come in, and believe me, players looking coming will be watching us. And I actually agree with that. I really do. James?
Yeah, man. As I said, it's a long time coming, and it's like sleeping giants of clubs, and we always have turns in football, right? Liverpool and City aren't going to be as dominant as they are maybe in 10 years' time, right? Each club has a comeuppance and each club has the downfalls. We've experienced a downfall for a longer time than I would have liked, but we're on the road to recovery, right? It's a similar position to AC Milan. AC Milan are challenging for Serie A titles, and you've seen the players that are going to them, looking to stay, looking on board of the project, right? And they're a massive club. So
Huge.
some of the best players in Europe now that are either at top clubs or are elite at their club that is slightly under the level of Champions League are going to be looking at us and being like, look, this is a hungry manager. This is a hungry young team. And we play good football when all of our players are fit. You've seen it. We've contended with the best teams in the Prem, City and Liverpool, for good, substantial periods of time. And we could have won it on our day, right? So for me, you seem with like the Gabriel Jesus rumor came out of nowhere, right? He's currently playing for arguably the best team in England, give or take, and it's close, and one of the best teams in Europe, even though they got knocked out of the semi-finals, right? And he's actively looking to come to us and be a big part of the project. So to get a talent like that, I think
still young as well.
Yeah, he is. He's 25. So it indicates, I think, where we're viewed within football. Like you see journalists saying, oh, players think Arsenal's a massive club, right? But last year, if we would have tried to sign a massive player, Haaland, he wouldn't have come. I still feel like we're in that position now, but those types of players that are the level with you need to get like to bring your club back to where we want to be, they're starting to look at us as serious options, and I'm open for it. I mean, if we're going to bring in a world beater like Haaland and Mbappe, I don't think we're there yet, but within a season or so, I think that's the level we're going to be at regarding transfers.
Yeah. So I think we could say we're all in agreement that we are behind the decision of Arteta extending his contract, and I think we can again agree that we're excited for what's going to happen going forward. Obviously, if we qualify for the Champions League, we're going to be buzzing. Yeah. I don't think we'll be gutted if we didn't make it, especially as it be the expense of them lot. But look, just quickly, if we do finish in the Champions League places, does he deserve a shout for the Manager of the Season award? Obviously, it usually goes to the winner of the league winner, but he deserves to be in the conversation, right?
I think David Moyes is ahead of him.
You think?
I disagree. I disagree. I think depending on how the season pans out, I can't see if I think the season's going to pan out the way I think it is. I don't see anybody winning it other than Klopp, because he's already won the Carabao Cup. I can't see Chelsea turning them over in the FA Cup. They're with a shout of winning the league. There's only a point in it, and to be honest, I can see Liverpool turning over Madrid, even though I probably would prefer Madrid to win that. So if the season pans out the way I think it might, in terms of my predictions, I can't see them giving it to anybody other than Klopp. But outside of Klopp, he's got to be a contender. I'm not saying he's more deserving than David Moyes, because I think what Moyes has done at West Ham has been exceptional. Their run in Europe, the fact that they've still been able to maintain a top 7 finish, I think that's incredible. At the same I think what Mikel's done, and I'm by no means, Mikel Arteta's biggest fan, but what he's done with this squad, honestly, the fact that we are in contention for top 4 and it's in our hands, I honestly think it's a brilliant performance from him. We've practically played this season without a striker. Practically, if you take into consideration the Aubameyang, fiasco, and then Lacazette's lack of goals, and Eddie's recent form, we basically played without a striker. When you take into consideration the age of this squad, it's a squad full of kids. There's very few players in this squad that have achieved very much or won very much in their careers. So yeah, I think there's a lot of accumulating factors, but I think I can see Klopp winning it. If Klopp doesn't win it, if the season falls apart for Liverpool, I definitely think Arteta is in with a shout. Whether we get it or not, I don't know. But if it was between, obviously I'm biased, but if it was between Moyes and Arteta, I'm rooting for Arteta. Well, I'm biased, so.
Gotta be. James, agree?
Yeah, man, it's one of those where I think wherever we're going in next short term, like I don't have a negative feeling about the club. The fans are demonstrating this as well, and it's prominent that King said that King has been to quite a few games this season, and he said at Wolves when we won in the last minute. Again, I never got to experience it, and all I've heard of Highbury is that it was just you were so close to the pitch, everybody knew everybody, and it felt like a family environment, and it was unity. And one of my favorite stories that he said is when we won. It wasn't about Highbury, but when we won the league, I think it was in '89 against Liverpool when Thomas scored the winning goal. My oldest sister, she's now I think like 32, 33. She was really young, right? And she had just been born, and he was getting up celebrating. He woke her up. She was crying. Wife was fuming, right? He did not care because that's how he felt about the club. And he said loads of friends that were Arsenal fans were like that because he's originally from London, right? So that's how I started supporting Arsenal. But going back to the point of what King said, the atmosphere felt old sort of Highbury. It was that loud. It was that prominent. Everyone was celebrating, hugging, unity vibes. So, yeah, man, I can't be more positive about the club right now. So that's it. There is nothing else to it. And for anyone that is negative about the Arteta contract,
just have an agenda.
Yeah, it's that I wouldn't say give your head a wobble, but think about it from a larger perspective. And if you don't like Arteta, still have fun supporting the club because I'm pretty confident that where we're going within the next 2-3 seasons is going to give you enjoyment as an Arsenal fan, regardless if you like Arteta or not. So
I couldn't agree with that, James. You put that so nicely. I love that. I love that. So this next comment rolls on nicely to the next subjects I want to talk about. AFC Maxis says, James, by the way, has anyone told you like the female? I've got to get the picture up. Let me just get the picture up. So there we go. We got James there. Let's have a look.
Jesus.
I don't know. You see that smile?
White guy with slightly long blonde hair. Yeah, man. I mean, I see the resemblance. I mean, maybe in a few scenarios, but I don't know. I'll take it as a compliment. He's not a bad-looking guy, so.
I would as well. I mean, you've had Ramsdale, you've had this. So yeah,
any blonde white guy that's associated with Arsenal, I've had this season fully.
Oh god.
Let's talk about Jonas Eidevall because he's obviously this was his first season, and what he's done is actually exceptional. You know, he's got the women's team into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, semi-final of the FA Cup where they lost against Chelsea, and currently only 1 point behind Chelsea in the league going into the final weekend, this weekend, where Chelsea actually got to go to Man United or play Man United, and they're looking for the Champions League spot themselves, and Arsenal play West Ham. So there's a good chance that they could be the champions this weekend. So for that, to do that in his first season, and he's only 39 years old as well, from Sweden, I think he's done an exceptional job. Would you agree, guys?
Yeah, I think he has. I have to admit, like, you know, Arsenal ladies is football, you know, obviously part of football of Arsenal that I've not massively followed, but you know, big up Lottie from our channel, Cannon Chat TV. She extensively does cover it, and has covered it all season. And obviously, her doing the shows, I've learned a lot more. So in terms of what he's done, you know, tracking back to like last season, you know, Arsenal, obviously, over the years, you've known Arsenal ladies have been a formidable force in English football, but somewhat fell off, almost, you know, just not really doing it in terms of competing for the league. So to go from where they were last season to now being within a point, right down to the final, you know, game of the season where, you know, if they get a result and results go their way, you know, they could be champions. I think that's a massive turnaround. The fact that they lost in the quarterfinal, no disrespect at all, because they lost to a phenomenal Barcelona side that just played football on another planet. So yeah, and obviously in FA Cup, you know, I think it was a semi-final against Chelsea, who obviously are top in the league. So it's, you know, it's been a good job. I think he's definitely kind of stabilized the side. You can see the progression there. So I think just like the Mikel Arteta contract extension, it makes perfect sense. You know, there's no real reason why you wouldn't secure his signature, tie him down, and just, you know, send that message out that, look, this is a reward for doing a good job. And we see you as part of our kind of, you know, long-term future. So yeah, sign the thing, and he did. So I think it was quite nice that both signed the contract at the same time, you know, across, the men's game and the women's game, because I think it, obviously, the men's game, there's a lot more high profile in terms of interest and stuff like that. But with the women's game, there is a massively growing audience. It's massively on the up, and that's only something that we can look to encourage. But I think the fact that both managers have signed the contract and been announced at the same time, I think that in itself just says a lot about Arsenal Football Club and the direction that we're going in terms of putting both the different sections of men's football and women's football somewhat on the same table and in the same discussion. I think there's a lot to be said for that. So yeah, congratulations to them both, and I think he's done a brilliant job with the Arsenal ladies.
Yeah. Absolutely, well deserved. James, do you want to touch on anything about the women's side?
I feel like G summed it up. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't follow the women's team. I should. Something I may be a bit ignorant of me, and I should get more into women's football because I've seen especially what impressed me most with them when they started up the new camp for the women's game, where it was 80,000, 90,000 people all watching in attendance. That really was for me. It's been growing. I know it's been growing, but for a physical standpoint, that was okay. It's serious now. So it's something I need to get more involved with. And as G said, I see Lottie all the time on Twitter talking about the women's team, quote tweeting how much she loves the team, the women. It seems like a feel-good factor from everything that I'm seeing from an outside perspective. I can't really comment it in detail because I don't know a lot about it, but from Lottie, from other fans that she's interacted with, and G said, they're doing well by all accounts. So I mean, it's showing good unison as well by both of them. Both of them signing, and I like it. It ties into what was in the actual report released by Arsenal, what they said about how they're looking to actively invest within the women's team, new buildings, new facilities, all of this. So it's just highlighting again where we're going as the Arsenal women's as a collective. We're all transitioning into the right direction. So yeah, big up. Keep doing what they're doing, and I'll be tuning in next season for more and educating myself more on that matter. So when we come back to this next season, hopefully we're as positive, and you can ask me again, and I'll be able to give you an informed opinion. But as of right now, everything looks positive.
I like that. That's fair.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm no expert. I literally get all my knowledge from looking at Lottie's tweets, from just tuning in here and there. I've not honestly, I've not even watched. I think I've watched maybe 2 games all season, but it's definitely something like you have said, James. I'm with you on that. It's something I need to be more involved in, more active in, and I definitely intend to do it. But yeah, man, big up the women, man. Because look, even when we were going through our tough times, they were doing bits, and they've been doing bits. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man, they've been holding the fort and flying the flag when we weren't. So yeah, big up the Arsenal ladies.
Yeah, it's fair. And look, I've watched a couple of games this season, and the game itself has evolved massively. If you compare it to maybe 10 years ago, they are proper athletes, and they do deserve all the respect they're getting. Obviously, BBC are showing a lot more of it now, and Sky Sports have picked up so much coverage on it as well. So it's very good to see. It's encouraging to see, and it's very good to see that the Arsenal ladies are still doing their thing. Simple as that. Before we do clock out, we're going to pick up some more of these comments. Jason, good to see, sir. Stability is going to be key to us challenging for top spots. We have the youngest squad in the league, so there will be blips, but they have progressed well this season, and I can't agree with that any less. Above Singh, Arteta has done a better job than Moyes. He's agreeing with you there. G-Talks 20th after 3 games, youngest squad in experience. Now look at us. Now look at us. Quick question here from FC Max. We'll answer it very quickly. Ramsdale signing of the season, James. Your twin?
Nah, not for me. Great player, but for me,
hold it. We'll do that for a different stream. Hold it. G, agree with this one? Ramsdale signing of the season? Yes or no?
On the spot, at one point I'd say yes. Right now I'd say in contention, but yeah, not a foregone conclusion for me.
Okay, and Saka, young player this season, just again, yes or no?
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Okay, and Xhaka most improved, quickly, yes or no?
I wouldn't necessarily say most improved. I'd say probably most consistent in the season. But yeah, I'd say he's been our most consistent performer. Because I wouldn't necessarily say he's improved. I just think he's somewhat ironed out the recklessness that that's kind of got him the label that he's had in previous years.
He's his role.
Yeah, he's and I know there've been moments in this season, but if you compare this season to a lot of previous seasons, those have been a lot more far few in between. So definitely been a lot more consistent in terms of his performances. Yeah, so for me, he's had a good season.
Yeah, I concur. I wouldn't say he's improved on what he should have done, which was the inconsistencies, and he's become a lot more consistent. If Tony doesn't want me to say who I should feel like should be the most improved player, so I won't. But there is a specific younger player that I think has gone on levels from last season. So I'll keep it at that until we go back to the end of season stream, I guess.
I don't know what you're talking about. Good comes in the house. Super Mick Arteta's having a little sing song over there. I know that winds some people up, but it's a fantastic chant. AFC Max, big up Steph Catley, fellow Australian. So nice to know where you're from, AFC Max. Thanks for tuning in as ever. Brilliant. Guys, it's been great to talk to you about this. Again, I think we all agree we're pumped. We're all ready for this run-in. Leeds tomorrow. Quick word, because we weren't on that previous day. 3 points. Give us a prediction. Just give us a prediction.
Over to you, James.
Okay. The pressure on me. I have bad luck when I predict results. Like if you go back in the season, the stream we've done, the streams that I've said we're going to win with Chest, we get battered. When I say we're going to lose, we're going to win. So I don't know. I'm going to say a 3-1. I'm going to be consistent. I said 3-1 last time. I said, does it 3-0? Anyway, 3-1. That's what I'm going with. So fingers crossed. I'm right. No. So we'll see.
I like how you said not to who. So anyway, go on.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. And I said it on Albert JTV 4-0. I said it on my stream 4-0. So I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going 4-0 Arsenal home win.
Wow, that's confident. That's confident.
I
just in my head, I know that Leeds need the points. That's what it is. But listen, I think this news it could be a little booster for them. So and at home as well. And I want to be hearing that song around that stadium. By the way, I want to be seeing clips of people singing at North London Forever.
I put it. You know what? I put it on my ringtone. Yeah, just so I can get the words in my head.
I know the words, but I ain't chanting it now.
Easy way for me to learn it, but then I put it
you already heard me after the West Ham game in the group chat. That's enough for now. Do you know what? I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going 3-0. Guys, thanks for tuning. James, it's good to see you again. GTalks, nice to have you on again. Hopefully, we won't leave it too long next time. And let's just say we are super pumped. And for the Arteta haters, the man himself has a message for you.
I can't change that my hair is perfecto.
And on that, that's how we're going to leave the stream. Have a good Friday. Enjoy that weather.
See you later, man.
Yeah.